This is Clark Kent. I'm the Predatory Lender Network, out with this news that the wealth gap between the rich and the poor is out, and the wealth gap between blacks and whites is growing, showing that only 63% of whites and 38% of blacks have any savings for retirement. What do you think of this?
I think it's terrible. I think that everybody should have savings and that the government should support them in maintaining it and being able to have an income that will let them do that.
Now, only 12% of people have less than $10,000 in retirement savings. How long do you think $10,000 will last someone in retirement?
Not very long, especially that most people don't have the kind of academic ability to be able to look after the savings, and nobody really teaches them how to invest or anything, so $10,000 will go really fast.
Now, 81% of financial planners are white versus 6% for blacks and 13% for all other races. What do you think of this?
I mean, I guess that just depends on the opportunity. A lot of people who go to college for financial planning, maybe it's a second option. It's not something that I'd want to do. So I would hope that it doesn't necessarily reflect on education levels in general in our country.
Now, what do you think this growing wealth gap means for the future of race relations?
I mean, I'm an optimist. I'd like to think that it will eventually be something that we can bridge, but it's not particularly looking good.
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
No.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent. I'm the Predatory Lender Network, saying live long and prosper. This is Clark Kent. I'm the Predatory Lender Network, out with this news that the growing wealth gap between blacks and whites is out, showing that only 63% of whites and 38% of blacks have any savings for retirement. What do you think of this?
I think Bruce Wayne and Wayne Enterprises will fix that problem.
Now, only 12% of people have less than $10,000 in retirement savings. Now, how long do you think that $10,000 will last them in retirement?
I mean, this suit costs $10,000.
Now, 81% of financial planners are white versus 6% for blacks and 13% for all other races. What do you think of this?
Are aliens in those races?
All other races?
All other races? Yeah. Once again, I think Wayne Enterprises can fix it.
Now, what does the growing wealth gap mean for the future of race relations?
I don't know.
Yeah. So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
Yeah, Batman, I need a raise.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent. I'm the Predatory Lender Network, saying live long and prosper. This is Clark Kent on the Predatory Lender Network, out with this news that the wealth gap between the rich and poor is growing, showing that the wealth gap between blacks and whites is growing, showing only 63% of whites and only 38% of blacks have any savings for retirement. What do you think of this?
I think it's a big problem. There's definitely a lack of jobs or opportunities or availability. And the thing is, a lot of them are sometimes victims, in some cases, of profiling in some states. And I think that there's definitely, I think the upper 1% of the population has more responsibilities and
you mean people like Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, creating jobs for people who are less fortunate, and especially also access to education, decent housing, and everything in between.
Now, only 12% of people have less than $10,000 in. 12% of people have less than $10,000 in retirement savings. How long do you think this $10,000 will last them in retirement?
It depends. Are you talking for an individual or a family of four?
Individual. An individual would have less than $10,000.
An individual, I would say probably 3 months.
Short.
It also depends on the type of city you live in. Like if you live in San Diego, California, that'll probably only last you 3 months.
So a short retirement.
Yes, absolutely. It's not enough.
Now, 81% of financial planners are white versus 6% for blacks and 13% for all other races. What do you think about so many whites being financial planners?
Well, I'm not aware of the actual statistics as far as, the color of who's doing what, and what status they're in. But if that were the case, I'm not exactly sure how to address it. I mean, there are, in all races, there's people that are successful no matter what their color is. I've never lived in, somewhere that there's there's really rampant discrimination. I mean, for the most part, I've lived in the cities where it's like a cultural melting pot, and there's definitely diversity. Not to say that discrimination doesn't happen in these places, but they still do happen.
Now, what do you think this means for the future of race relations with these particular numbers?
I definitely think that we can do a lot better, and especially people who are of influence do not need to make statements that are further dividing, races or classes of income inequality, or in some cases, people need to stop this propaganda about certain religions, about basically generalizing a type of religion for radicals, because there's every radical into any type of religion, and you can't just pretty much pigeonhole a certain religion for just because they're associated with some extremists.
So in closing, is there any last minute thing you'd like to say?
Have fun at Comic-Con.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network saying live long and prosper. This is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network out with this news of the growing wealth gap between blacks and whites. Now, it is growing and showing that only 63% of whites and 38% of blacks even have any savings for retirement. What do you think of this?
Savings for retirement, just got to save your money, and you will get into save your money, spend your money wisely, and you'll have a great retirement.
Now, only 12% right now, 12% of people have less than $10,000 in retirement savings. Now, how long do you think that $10,000 will last them in retirement?
$10,000 in retirement can last 6 months, can last 1 month, can last a year, depending how you spend it.
Now, right now, of financial planners, 81% of them are white and 6% black and 13% for all other races. What do you think about these financial planners being so skewed to the white race?
Well, financial planners, just got to plan it right, and you'll go places depending what you want in life. Just got to plan it, and you'll be good. You just got to go right wherever your financials are. Just be focused, and you'll get places.
Now, what do you think? What do you think this means for the future of race relations with so many whites having the money?
I think it's on every race. Every race has money. Individuals, whites, blacks, Mexicans, just depending, how you spend your money, you'll be rich or you'll be poor. You can have a lot of money today and less money tomorrow.
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
As Oliver Queen, just got to be protecting and watch out around you. Here we got Spider-Man and Deadpool. Just got to be careful. That's what I got to say.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent on the Predatory Lending Network saying live long and prosper.